Hey Shredders, this is episode 5 of Learn From My Mistakes. In the series, we go and look at my old snowboarding to figure out the mistakes I was making, address them so you can go and avoid them in your own riding. We'll start with this little front one, cab one. This is a trick that I've been doing for a long time and I find it pretty natural. It doesn't use too many complex movements. The first movement we're going to be really utilizing is counter rotation and tail pressure. So ideally you have your upper body in this super rotated position, super bent over, but there's something that I'm doing here that's actually a mistake even though I'm getting into the trick and lacing it, and this is happening on the takeoff. See how much my board is flexing up and over the rail? I'm needing to go and flex my board a lot to get on top of it. Why is this? This is because of a problem that I had for a really long time, and it's hitting the rail too slow. Because I'm landing so high up on the rail and I'm hitting it with such little speed, I'm needing to go and generate a lot of pop and a lot of height on my snowboard. I'm doing this through flexing. This is making it a lot harder for motion, and this is also why I'm landing very tail heavy. So we won't stay on that too long, but basically, you're going to see a lot for all my rail riding here is I was hitting all the features too slow. Here we got a little back one, and I actually didn't know how to backside 180 at this stage. I only really learned recently, and the problem I'm having is the head positioning right here. See how I'm spotting looking towards the takeoff of the jump? You actually want your spot to be pointed all the way downhill, but because I'm spotting at the takeoff of the jump, watch what happens when I go to rotate. I go and spot not where I'm landing, but instead where I came from. And this is going to really disconnect my upper body from lower body, making it really hard to land. And that's why you see me going and looking up and landing, looking across from my body. So this is a really common mistake, and it's the big reason why I was like, I don't like backside 180s up until recently, because if you spot the takeoff instead of the landing, you're going to go and need to look up. And if you're looking up, you're not going to be in control. You're not going to see where you are, and that landing is going to hit you a little bit from surprise. Here we have a frontside 360, whoop, and the big problem I was having on my frontside spins is I was just leaning too far back off the takeoff, not keeping my weight centered enough over top of my board. I still have this problem a bit today. It's just part of my frontside spins, but I'm working on it. But look at the spot just completely forward. I would have washed the heels there for sure. This front free is something we can go and break down a little more in depth. We got a bit of a better angle. I might have said front free there. This is a backside 360, if I confused anyone there. So first, setup carve. Honestly, setup carve's not too bad. Hips angled, upper body's angled, all towards the corner. Just done a little bit too soon. This is a little confusing because it like sort of starts curving and it sort of looks like this is going uphill, but I should really be delaying the setup carve all the way into like this point of the jump. This is just a really early time to be getting on the toe edge, and let's see how I transition. So flat base, two toes, and yeah, I was want to see a decent transition, but look what happens. I can't hold this position, and I start crouching down into the spin. This isn't ideal. We're trying to hold a strong position because that's going to let us spin on a smooth axis, but if you go and crouch down this much, what's going to happen? You can't go and snap your spin across your body because it's going to be angled downwards, so the only thing you can do is fully extend your body upwards. And this is making it so you're adding more dynamics to your spins, and you're never going to be able to get a lot of power through doing your spins this way. Because I'm needing to go and pop up and explode, my upper body isn't able to continue the rotation throughout my chest. Instead, I'm relying on pushing up and pulling the shoulders. We're also making another mistake here. This hand dropping to the board instantly. So you can see my board's hardly even off the takeoff, but I'm already reaching for that grab. And that's really what's throwing me off, is that big squatted down position. And that's just something I didn't really know. It's really important to not go and squat your legs too much. Here too, see how much bend I have in my legs here? My legs should be much straighter, because if you have this much bend in your legs, you have to go and have your upper body come forward in order to compensate for it. So my legs in all of my spins for this season were too bent starting, and that's making it so as I go and throw, look at how my hand's touching my board. I'm completely broken at the waist. This is going to still happen sometimes if your legs are straight, but it's going to happen pretty much every time if your leg's a little bit more bent. And look at how I'm hitting that grab really early on, and then I'm needing to rely on this really exaggerated upper body pull in order to recorrect my axis rotation. So I'm not getting a clean motion, I'm not getting power off a jump here because I'm breaking at the waist, I'm throwing down towards my snowboard, preemptively try and hit that grab, and that's why I have to go and let go of a grab, and I'm landing in this sort of weird off-axis tilt because I went and set myself on that bad axis. So even though it's landing, it's basically the difference is, see how I'm off kilt right here at 90? This isn't the axis you want to be on for a backside 540, but it's going to happen every single time you break at the waist. Frontside 5, whoop. Not bad, but this is a normal landing you'll see a lot on front fives, under rotated landing very heel heavy. So let's break down why that's happening. And yeah, I'm honestly not too sure. So first setup carve, toes, heels, good timing, pretty powerful. Snapping the upper body too soon. See how my upper body is completely snapped and it's holding that position? The only thing that's continuing the rotation is my back arm. And look at how my shoulders are going and dipping downwards on an angle. This is what's setting me on that slight off-axis cork that we can see right here. And this is why I can't go and rotate all the way through to a clean 5, because again, I'm on the wrong axis of rotation for the 540. So I'm finishing off 360 and see how I'm very tail heavy. So I'm needing to go and try correct my axis rotation, and I'm landing completely 90. If I went and rotated 540 from here, I would have landed very tail heavy, very bad upper body position. I probably would have slammed. So the tilt in the shoulders here is what's stopping me from getting this 540. And this is something you're going to see a lot in my riding and a lot in people's riding still learning. It's just these slight imperfections off the takeoff. So this dip in the shoulders combined with the leaned back motion that we saw in the front free earlier is why I'm not able to frontside 540. And with that takeoff, I'd never be able to go and get a proper frontside 540. This back free is a little bit better, but we can see I'm still holding that bend in my legs. I think a lot of this has to do with catching my heel edge when I was younger and like not being confident in holding this tall position. So I used to pre-spin on my backside spins when I was younger, and it'd make it so I'd clip my heel edge. A way you can avoid clipping your heel edge every time is by maintaining bend in your legs. But if you maintain bend in your legs, your upper body needs to go forward. So this is like a scared safety body position. I'm maintaining a bend so I can maintain toe pressure, but because of this, I'm not tall and not generating power straight up. Let's go and imagine trying to throw power into this position. Where's your weight gonna go? It's gonna go straight down towards the ground. So if I threw like a backside 7 from this position, I'd be going straight misty flip, and I wouldn't be able to come anywhere close to getting the proper axis of rotation. That said, this after bang sort of makes up for it. Look at that. I loved the after bang when I was younger. There are some good parts about this though. So I wait to grab a lot longer. That's way better, more patient, and I'm really good at using my back arm to pull along the spin. And then see how it's coming back? That's me utilizing counter rotation. So I did a good job going and waiting to snap, waiting to pull, and then coming through. Oh, this was my signature trick. I had to stop doing it because I broke way too many boards on switch front lips. I had like a 5-year period where every single one of my boards that I broke was on a switch front lip, and it's because of this takeoff. I still have this problem on the switch front side lip takeoffs, and this is just a really prime example of 2-foot jumping. So see how I'm lifting up, rotating over my front foot, and this is making it so I'm at a very high risk of clipping the rail, because instead of riding all the way off the feature, then rotating, that would normally put you up in the air, making it so it's way hard to clip. But since I'm going and jumping off my front foot, it's making it so I'm really risking clipping the front of the feature. The reason why I'm doing this is it's way easier. It doesn't take as much disconnect, and I'm able to throw it more like a spin. And that's helped me continue my momentum. And this is why this is one of the easiest switch ups, because I'm landing here, shoulders slightly closed, and then just continuing my momentum throughout the trick, shifting into that frontside board slide. A really interesting thing here is I actually couldn't do a frontside board slide not in this trick. Couldn't do a 50-50 to front board. I could only do switch front lip to frontside board slide. And that really goes and shows how unnatural frontside board slides are, because this is a good frontside board slide position. But the way I was doing 50-50s and everything was making it so I couldn't go and jump into the rail in this position without being already on it. I don't know if we have any videos of my frontside board slides back then because I wasn't really trying them, definitely not filming them, but it would be interesting to see. So here is my first ever Wildcat and my first ever time riding powder, and I was extremely stoked. Really scared of this trick, but I did it a lot on trampoline, and there's some problems here that I still have with my current Wildcats, but the thing I really love here is look at how much extension, how my board's matching the shape of the jump, straight legs, getting that body fully extended, and thrusting those hips up. This is really important when you're doing your Wildcat, and that's staying strong and pushing through. I honestly should look at this a little closer because I did a Wildcat recently and I was too scared to fully extend. I broke my collarbone on one not too long ago, and it was one of the instances where I thought I was doing everything perfect, but it ended up in just like getting lost in the air and landing on my shoulder. So I've been scared to get this full hip thrust, full pop that you need to get max control. For anyone wanting to learn Wildcats, this is the way to do it. Go find a place off a mountain with a little bit of snow, a good steep landing, and just dig yourself up a little takeoff like this. It doesn't need to be massive, and what you want to do for this is just focus on shifting your hips forward and lifting your chest up while keeping your head connected to your shoulder. A big misconception people have for Wildcats is that you want to throw down towards your tail, but what you're actually trying to do here is jam the hips forward, and as you jam the hips forward, lift that chest up while keeping your neck connected, because that's going to make it so you can naturally come in. But if you come and crunch yourself and have this neck crunch, it's going to make you weak. So if you're trying to do a Wildcat, this is the best way to learn. Coming up, patient on that takeoff, kicky takeoff, push your hips through, think you're trying to hip check the sky while keeping your core aligned and keeping your chest tall. You do that and you keep your head in a calm position, you're going to go and get to your feet, and if there's a good powder in the landing, that's all you need to do to be okay. Once you go and get over your head, you'll be able to see, and if you're comfortable with the back foot motion, what you should be before trying a Wildcat on snow, it will come around. Here, my first ever, I think this would be technically a McTwist, but it's on a very weird feature, and this works. I land it, but it's not consistent, and I've stopped doing these because this isn't a sustainable way to do it. And that's because look at my hand completely touching my board, and I'm completely rounded in the back. This is causing me to go and front flip through and land very tail heavy. So it worked in this instance, but it would never be extremely controllable, and it's not something I practice now. So this was like one day later, and it was my second day riding pow jumps, and I went and learned this, the front underflip 540, and this actually came really natural, and it sort of works better with how I do Wildcats. My main problem for Wildcats is I let my chest open slightly, and that puts me into like a backflip axis rotation, but that works great with the underflip. So the only changes I'm making to do the underflip here is as I throw my Wildcat, I'm letting my chest completely open, and as it opens, that just will naturally put you into the position to underflip. So if you're trying to learn front underflip fives, it's really simple once you get the Wildcat. Instead of just throwing straight back, you're using the same principles, but letting your chest open 90. That's going to initiate a little bit of rotation, and as you hit that grab, it will come around. And again, these flip tricks aren't very technical, but they're something that you need to be like committed to and matching. And if you start like crunching, getting compromised, you're going to get funked. So here's a pretty funny one. Again, like another day after, I was going ham. This was my first hit on this feature, and I'm like, I want to do something cool. And I was going to do an underflip, but the speed for this feature kept on getting faster and faster with each person hitting it. You can see that it's a POW in run. So like my friends went and hit it, didn't go that big. So I went a little bit faster and popped it. First thing I want to know about this pop, no extension, leaning back. That's not going to put me up in the air, not giving me good control. And that's why I'm going and flipping through and not able to control it. Plus I'm going too big. So here, just completely boned and just can't control that rotation at all. I'd be able to control this rotation a lot more though if I got a full extension off the lip. But because I'm keeping myself crouched and I'm throwing downwards into the snow, see how I'm throwing back down into the snow instead of lifting myself up? This is making it somewhat uncontrolled axis rotation, landing flat on my face. This actually was great for building my confidence though, because this day I tried double Wildcats off a cliff to the side, though my coach was like, I'm not giving you that clip until you go and land a double Wildcat on snow. What I did end up doing, but he deleted the clip, and I'm honestly butthurt about it since. I tried like 3 double Wildcats off the cliff there, Didn't land any of them, but still I'm bummed to not have that clip to this day. Here we have a front side 360 I was trying, but because I switched to a stale fish grab, it continued my axis rotation. So melon, stale fish, kept me close, and it made me accidentally rotate a 540. And this 540 worked a little bit better than the one previously, and that's because I went and threw it flatter off the lip because I wasn't trying to add extra power like I was for the frontside 540 before. But we can still see shoulders dipping, upper body's leaned over, and that's just going to make it so I'm really needing to control my axis of rotation in the air. But I went and learned my first frontside 720 this day. That's my first ever front 7, and I was very excited. And it was also one of my last frontside 540s. Once I learned how to front 7, I really stopped doing front 5s because the frontside 720 is way easier, honestly. So here, why is it easier? It's easier because the axis of rotation is more forgiving. I'm going and snapping my upper body, rotating it more. That's making it so I'm not reaching for the grab as soon, keeping me in a more upright position. And then that little bit of dip actually works with the axis rotation. We can see that I'm not in proper form. I'm sort of heavy. I'm sort of bent over, leaned over. But as soon as I get that melon grab, it pulls everything together. And now we're hitting like this position that's really powerful. Squared legs, head leading the spin, spotting down towards the knuckle, and from there, you're set on the front side rotation. That's why I always say, if you get a really good front side 540, the front side 7 comes like absolutely nothing. Here's a contest run. I was pretty stoked on it. Cab 5, back 3, front 5, and then I hit the front 7 in finals. Didn't win anything. I wasn't really winning stuff at this stage, but I was making finals. So here, first wildcat in the park, and you can see this one a little more scared, so I do it a lot more back flippy. And this is the problem I have with my wildcats too today. I'm not much of a flipper, if I'm being honest. I'd prefer to do a double back 10 versus a double wildcat any day. But we can't really see, so we won't stay on it too long. But hips are opening, sort of sinking back, chest opening a bit, and that's giving me this sort of backflip axis. But it felt really easy, and once I did it, I was stoked. I did stay up for like 3 days and 3 nights, scared of doing the wildcat though. And you can see we had a little airbag here, so I was doing some airbag training on it. I had all the prior steps, but I was still absolutely terrified. And that's one of the things I want to note with this. We can go and break down all the technicals, all the aspects, but the mental game and the fear is a serious thing, and it's going to be something you need to work through. All you can do is give yourself the best information possible so you can go and try to perform your movements as confidently as possible. A lot of the reason why my wildcats are still bad is because I don't have the confidence to perform the proper positioning. Even though I know what's proper, I don't go and have faith that it's going to go and result in a work. So then I fall back into what I know and what feels more comfortable, what's not proper, and it's why I can do wildcats off pretty much anything, but I don't want to do them, and I do consider them to be a serious risk when I do them. Here we got the Zoolander vibes. We won't look at my season edits from the past because they're super embarrassing, but they're probably on this YouTube account somewhere. Here we got a little switch up deck, frontside 360 on, rainbow box, basically a freebie for this trick. You just keep your board under you, and we can see blind landing, controlling it, but really hard to stop that rotation. Here we got my little spring contest, front 7, not enough rotation, and that's why I need to let go and snap around. Hit the knuckle. Doop, doop, doop. Big snap, reaching for a grab too soon. You can see that because my legs are coming up, letting go and twisting it around. So not super proper, but it was good enough to win, and I won a snowboard at this contest, so it was pretty cool. Front board same way. Again, let's go and remember, I couldn't do a normal front side board slide. So what about this made it so it's so bad? And you'll be able to see it right here. Check out this 2-footed jump. Boom, we're getting some serious airage clearing, where instead what we want to be doing is having the tail maintain contact until we leave off the lip. But this is really the thing that was holding me back on rails for a really long time. Going first, ridiculously slow. Look at that. This is like a 10-foot rail and I am crawling. I got like 2 seconds on it. So it's that and 2-footed jumping. And I normally find that the two come together. If you're going really slow, it's hard to keep your board in contact with the lip of the takeoff. So what happens when you start hitting rails slow is you start jumping both your legs because you need to generate that power yourself to get on. So this is problematic because look at how straight and extended my body is. This is nowhere close to the position I want to be in my front and side board slide. So I'm immediately landing and then immediately trying to shift into a position that's more balanced. And this trick actually took me like 10 tries because it was so hard shifting from this straight position into a front side board slide, into the rotation. And you can see I'm not locked in. I got nothing going. And this is all stemming from going too slow and two-footed jumping. What is why I go in stress, just maintain contact. Front underflip in the spring. We can see not bad form, like leaned over a little bit, but chest straight, throwing up, and it just comes around. I don't do these tricks anymore. Yeah, I don't know the last time I did a front underflip, if I'm being honest. Here we go, alley-oop McTwist. This trick's pretty fun, and it's really forgiving. Basically, you just want to come off a lip, try be as patient as you can, and throw your body up and around downwards, ideally off your tail as much as possible. As long as you go and get to this position, it feels like a normal 360, but not very controlled. My first time in Whistler. These jumps were so freaking gnarly. I can't stress how gnarly these jumps were. This is learner, and it honestly does look really gnarly. Look at that old cat Skinner position. So here we got a 540. Honestly, pretty beast. Pretty beast. I was doing a 5 here. I was so sketched out, and this was massive for me. So what's going on here? Same thing that's been going on the whole season. Bent down, lean forward, throwing to the ground, hitting the grab too soon, but controlling it just through sheer tenacity. Tenacity? We're going to pretend we didn't even try. Here, front lip again, and we can see two-footed jump. Going a little bit faster on the rail, 270 out. One of the first times I landed that trick, so pretty stoked. And here we got some back sevens. Nice. These were my best back sevens of the day. And they were pretty Gucci. Not going to lie, pretty freaking Gucci. But we're going to see the problems with my form to the absolute extent here. So first thing I want to note is my legs are taking off in a lot straighter of a position. This is because when you're doing something like a back seven, you're getting full extension and you're actually popping a lot more. And this is why my back seven takeoffs now are actually the best of my takeoffs, because they require it. But we can still see the same problems coming and hitting me. Since I have that little bit of hinge forward, a little bit of bend, and I'm used to reaching for a grab too soon, I'm leaving this with this arc. And this is making it so I can grab at 180. But when you grab at 180, look at my head positioning. I'm stuck behind the tail of my snowboard, and I'm rotating around that front foot. That's going to throw off my axis of rotation, and it's why I need to go and sort of Japan it and try to rebalance myself. So here we're doing the double spot, spotting over the shoulder, looking around and pulling through. See the spot right here looking straight down? We don't want this on a back seven. We want to have our spot and our head in one spot and then rotating completely through it. So that's just impossible, like grabbing too soon and the axis rotation I'm on, and that's resulting in the double spot. That said, landed back seven, and that was a big day for me to land those back sevens like that, and it took a lot of work to fix that. So recap for what I really learned this season is, went a little too far back, but what I learned this season is you really need to go and stay stronger in your upper body, stop breaking forward, stop throwing to the ground. I'd love to say that I went and fixed it, and I fixed it for next year, but this is a problem that went and hurt me for a really long time, and it really took into Whistler for me to fix it. So we're probably going to need to deal with the similar problems in the next season, but pushing with even bigger tricks with it. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to do another one of these, learn from my mistakes, and yeah, I think it's cool to go and show where I came from, where these tricks come from. So when I go and talk about what you want to be doing, you have a little bit of context for why. Because I was doing the tricks, I was doing sevens, but I've been doing these tricks for so many more years, and there's a reason why I've made all the changes I made. So yeah, something to think about and something just fun to talk about. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with another video shortly.